Welcome, everyone. This is Burge's Power Hour in August. I can't believe it's August already, but let me just tell you, I am so thrilled about tonight's call because it's all about self-worth, how to allow others to love and support us. Boy, that's a big mouthful, isn't it? So just please, this call it's being recorded, and we will be able to send this out to everyone so that if you miss it or if you want to re-look at it or listen to it, you're welcome to. Have pen and paper ready if you can, because as I said before, I don't like to be a talking head. I like to have some interaction, and we want you to get the most out of this call tonight about having self-worth in your life and how to allow others to love and support you. And what we do, I'll be doing a couple of exercises with you so you can kind of dig deep and feel around in there and see what's in your unconscious mind, because that's where I like to play. And also, I have some gifts for you at the end of the call, so please stay tuned for the gifts at the end of the call. I'll try to keep it as close to an hour as possible. So I'll jump right in. And I think we have people from all around the country and perhaps around the world listening in tonight or tomorrow morning if you're over there in Asia. So I just wanted to say that ask yourself this question: what are you worth? What are you worth? Are you enough? These are the kind of questions that come up for people all the time in our Essence of Being classes and all the different programs that I teach. But we look at, and people get to look at, what are they worth? And are they enough? And so, unfortunately, many people in this world look at themselves as, well, I'm worthy, I have self-worth and self-esteem, and I'm worth something if I have good credit score, or if I have enough money in the bank, or if I have relationships that are healthy, or if I have children, maybe that means I'm worthy, or if I take care of my elderly parents, that means I'm worthy, or, hey, I have a great job, so I must be worthy. So a lot of these outside thoughts and outside, all those things are on the outside. In other words, if you're looking at yourself as feeling worthy because of something on the outside, then what's the opposite of that? If you don't have those things, or if you have them and you lose them, then where are you? You're not worthy anymore? So people tend to look on the outside to say, well, this means I'm worthy and this means I'm not. And it all comes from the outside. So it's about valuing yourself. How much are you worth? So people value themselves by a lot of different ways. And we're going to go in there and find out how you value yourself here in a minute. But a lot of people, they value themselves by their deeds, or by, again, their money, how much they can give, or maybe they value themselves by, what great businesses they have or jobs they have, or just they value themselves on their thoughts. They also can value themselves on how much love they have in their life, or health, or companionship, or friendship. So this value that we place on ourselves is tenuous sometimes. It's, in other words, if we have what we want in our lives, that's great, right? So we think we're valuable. But oftentimes when we may be feeling like we don't have everything we want, or we're not quite there, or we've lost something, then we quickly decide, well, there must be something wrong, or I'm not valuable anymore, or I don't make a difference, so I'm not worthy. So, like I said, we're going to go there and see what you think about yourself so that you can get some clarity around what is your unconscious thinking about your self-worth, and how easy is it to allow others to love and support you? So I'm going to give you a definition of net worth, okay? So I know that I'm going to give you a new definition of net worth. Now, if you've done any of my Essence of Abundance classes or seen any of my other talks, then you know what this is. So people talk about net worth as your bank account or your assets versus your liabilities, and that's my net worth. So that's what accountants and the financial institutions and people that are, when you're looking at your solvency, okay, you get to look at what is my net worth. So here's a new definition. Your net worth is your net work. Your net worth is your net work. And what that means is look around you, feel through what is my network. Do I have a network of people? Do I have a network of assets? Do I have a network of thoughts? Do I have a network of love? Do I have a network of companionship? Do I have a network that I can just reach out and ask for help? Although I know many of us don't, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But our network is really our net worth. You know, I sit around and I think about, I wonder who would come to my funeral. Maybe I'm weird like that, but, you know, I wonder about that. I think, wow, do I have a network, and have I felt worthy? Have I felt like my net worth is really really great because of my network? So this is just a reframe of maybe looking at your net worth as something other than just financial. Because your network is really important. It's how many lives have you touched? How have you made a difference in the world? How important do you really feel like you have been? Now, I know many of us go back and forth about that. They think, well, I'm not that important, or I don't really matter. Or we think sometimes we have to do something or say something or be something in order to deserve to be worthy. So I want to just throw that out there, that a new paradigm, a new thought, if that is you, if you felt like that before, to look at yourself as maybe I don't have to do anything or say anything or be anything in order to be worthy. Just by my mere existence, just for the simple fact that I'm born, provides me the knowing that I'm here for a reason, that I do matter, that I am important, and that I am worthy of love and happiness and success and all my desires. So, unfortunately, I guess, many of us will argue for our limitations, don't we? We really just start arguing about, well, I've got enough, or I have just enough, or I don't have quite enough, or I argue for, let me tell you why I don't have enough, or why I am not enough, or why I'm not worthy. So we start arguing for our own limitations by justifying why we're not there. I mean, people justify all the time in the workshops that we do with Essence of Being. They justify why they can't get to the next level. And they're very clear about it. And by golly, that's what they focus on, about all the justifications and reasons why they can't get to the next level, whatever that is for them. And it is a natural tendency for some of us to argue, to justify our position, to say, well, at least we've gotten this far. And what I'm suggesting we do, if you really want to argue, which I don't like to do, but if you really want to just put up an argument, argue for the alignment of being congruent with your soul and your reality. I'm going to say that again because that's a dandy, I think. So if you want to argue for something, argue for alignment of being congruent with your soul and your reality. In other words, if you believe you have a soul or you believe you have something energy-wise that's you other than just your body, that soul or that energy or that beingness that we call you, okay, is here for a reason. And perhaps you've come here to, maybe you don't know what that reason is, maybe you do, but it doesn't match your reality. So you're not congruent. So your insides are telling you, I'm here for a reason. I matter. I'm worthy. And yet your reality on the outside is saying, well, not so much, or maybe not as much as you'd like, or maybe not yet, or maybe you had it and now you don't. And so you're not in alignment, okay? So I was talking to somebody tonight about something, and I said, you got to have a reason why. You got to have a reason why you want to align yourself with your soul and your reality. You got to have a why. Why do I want anything? Don't take no for an answer. If you're really impassioned about something, you won't take no for an answer. You'll do whatever it takes. And that's commitment, which is a whole nother call that we've done before about commitment. Okay? But here's what I want us to do. I want us to really go and look at our unconscious and our conscious thoughts. Most of us don't walk around with our conscious thoughts saying, gee, I think I'm unworthy today. What am I going to do that's going to prove that to me? So I've said this a lot in the workshops, that our conscious mind is like our gas of the car. That's our desire. That's what we think consciously. And then our unconscious could be the brake of the car, where we have resistance, where that brake comes up. Our unconscious says, yeah, but you're not worthy. So your unconscious puts the brake on, perhaps, and that's your resistance, and your gas is your conscious, which is your desire. So, of course, when you put your brake on and your gas on at the same time, you spin your wheels and you go nowhere and you feel stuck. And I'm sure nobody on this call has ever felt stuck, right? Yeah, this is when you guys chime in and say, right.
Right.
Okay. Yay. So here's the thing. What we're going to do, and what I do in all the workshops and programs that I have been doing for so long, is really helping people let go of the unconscious resistance instead of letting go of your desires. Because we all know how to do that. We all know how to settle. We all know how to just not put our foot on the gas anymore. So that is why we go to the unconscious part, and that's what we're going to do. So I want to, this is the part where you might want to write these things down. If you're in a place where you can write down, that'd be great. If not, you could just answer them in your mind. But there's going to be two sets of things I want us to go through tonight. Remember, I said the beginning of this was self-worth, how to allow others to love and support me. So the first part that I want us to do is I want us to do a stream of consciousness writing, okay? And what that means is you're going to write down, I now allow others to love and support me. And those of you who have done Essence of Being, you've done this before, and it might be kind of cool to see if you have any different responses to this. If you haven't done Essence of Being, then this will be cool, too. So what you do is you write down, I now allow others to love and support me. And then you write down the very first thing that comes up that you think, the very first thought. Don't edit it. Don't try to write the correct thing. Just whatever comes into your mind. You just let your consciousness flow. So go ahead and take 30 seconds or 50 seconds or so, maybe a minute, and write it down as many times as you can. So you'd write down, I now allow others to love and support me. And then you write a response to it. And then write it again. I now allow others to love and support me. And then write a response to it. Or think about it if you're not writing. So go ahead, I'm going to give you a minute to do that so you can just kind of fish around in there. Okay. So hopefully something came up, a response of some sort. And typically, oftentimes, people really don't know how to allow others to love and support them because they feel like there's a catch. So oftentimes what comes up is that unconscious thought of maybe, what do they want? What do I have to do for it? I can't allow others to love and support me. That means they want something from me. Or what do I have to do to give back? I'm going to owe them, and I don't want to owe anybody anything. Or you might have a response of, well, let me earn it first. Yeah, I'll allow others to support me if I earn it. Or you might have an unconscious thought that that's weak. I can do it myself. And who would like to share anything that they wrote down, and then we'll go to the next part. Anybody want to share anything that came up for them? This is that interactive part.
I'll share.
Okay.
I now allow others to love and support me when they do it in a way I'm comfortable with.
Oh, okay. So you have to control how they do it because is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you're comfortable with it, so when are you ever comfortable with it?
When I don't think they expect something in return.
When you say that again?
When I don't think that they have ulterior motives, like
gotcha.
they're doing to get something in return.
Gotcha. So it's like, what do I have to, right. So that's one of those thoughts of, what do I have to do in return? Like, what strings attached? Am I going to owe them? What do they want? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's an uncomfortable feeling. And so if they love and support me, oftentimes where this comes from, that response comes from the feeling that you have to earn it or do something, or that you have to earn it, deserve it, in order for someone to do something for you. Now, they may have ulterior motives and they may not, but that's not the point. The point is, if you are vibrating, and we all vibrate, all sentient beings have a vibration, and they've proven this in quantum physics, so it's not just woo-woo stuff. We all have a vibration. And if we're vibrating, we're worthy, and we deserve to be loved and supported, then it really doesn't matter if they have an ulterior motive or not, because you always have a choice. You always have a choice to accept it or not, and meaning you have a choice to feel worthy and not be concerned about what their motives are. And you can actually feel, once you get used to doing this, you can really feel the difference. And, of course, many of us have had evidence all of our lives that that's the case. Okay, our parents will love and support us, but we've got to do something for them. Or our spouse, or our kids, or our partners, or our boss, or employees. They all have to, in order for them to support us, we have to give something back. So I'm throwing out, perhaps, that there's another way. That it's really about how you are vibrating. If you're vibrating worthiness, then it really doesn't matter if they have their own feelings around it. You just say thank you and own it. And you don't have to do anything in order to receive it. Which goes back to that whole piece that we talk about a lot in the workshops about receiving. That it's socially acceptable to not receive from people. However, it's spiritually inappropriate because we are born here to receive and to give.
Hey, Burge, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so how come it's the people who give the most that have such a problem in receiving from others?
What do you think the answer is?
If I had the answer, I don't think I would ask the question.
I think you know the answer. Why do people give? Because they want to what?
Receive.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it feels good to give.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels good to receive. And remember...
Yes, it does. And I have to say, it does feel good to receive.
It does. And remember that giving and receiving is the same thing. But we have all been taught it's better to give than receive. We've all been taught that you need to be humble. Most of us have. Okay? That it's, don't just go ahead and be a giver. But again, what happens is it cuts off the whole cycle about giving and receiving. Because if it's the same energy, if you block it anywhere in that cycle, whether you block it by not giving or whether you block it by not receiving, it still blocks it.
Okay. See, I think it's more humble to receive than to give. It's easy to give. And I think the caller is also someone who gives. The person who asked the original question just likes to give, but has a problem receiving in that same way.
Well,
someone's choking.
Someone's choking on that thing, right? So
I am actually. I'm sorry. I disagree. I think that it's much easier to receive, at least where I come from, and what I see in this society is that. People are ready to receive and much more stingy in giving. And I don't know, that's my opinion, and that's what I experienced. And then, yet I have an experience of having a problem with receiving, and my challenge is with receiving than with giving.
So thank you for that. And it really is, remember, we all have evidence to prove our reality. We all have evidence, whether it's easier to give or easier to receive. It doesn't really matter. The point I'd like to make here is that when you give, you are receiving something from that other person by them allowing you to give to them. And when you receive something from another person, you're giving back to them. So to me, again, giving and receiving is the same energy. It is a cycle that can be broken either way.
I'm sorry, Bridge. When you say when you're receiving, you're giving back by receiving?
Yes. When you receive something, when you give let's say that you receive a compliment from someone, and you receive that compliment, and you say thank you.
Right.
it gives something back to that person because now they feel like, oh, they really got me. They really received my compliment. That makes me feel good.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same thing. So when you write down, I now allow others to love and support me, what comes up for a lot of people is like what the caller said, that I have to give back to them, I'm going to owe them, or what do they want? And that comes from feeling like that this has certainly been the evidence in their life. And if we were vibrating, just solely vibrating that we're worthy, then it really doesn't matter. So let's go a little deeper. Go ahead and let's write down something. There's a couple more things I want you to write down, if you can. And if you're not able to write, just think about it. And I want you to finish this sentence. I've got 3 sentences for you, okay? And just keep writing until I tell you the next sentence. I am worthy of, and just write down whatever comes up. I am worthy of, and then finish up on the one you're writing. And now write down, I am not worthy of, I am not worthy of, and finish that sentence. And write down whatever comes up. And when you finish that, finish up on that, and just notice which one was easy to come up with and which one wasn't. Maybe they both were easy, maybe they both were hard. And this last one is, I am successful when, and if you have background noise, please mute yourself, *6 or mute. I'm successful when So finish up on that one. And just notice, again, what was easy, what was hard, if you could come up with anything, how much you came up with, how little. And then I want you to look at what you wrote or what you thought about and ask yourself, are these my thoughts or somebody else's? Oftentimes, our beliefs that we have in our lives about ourselves come from a lot of different places. Our parents, religion, culture, TV, friends, school, grandparents, society. And we take these beliefs on thinking they're true about us. So who would like to share what they wrote down?
Howard here.
Okay.
Lucky here. I had a very interesting thing.
Okay.
I wrote down, I am worthy of love, prosperity, health, and success. And I put dollar signs on the S's in success.
Okay.
All right? And then for I am not worthy of, the one that blasted into me was abuse. I'm not worthy of abuse.
Okay.
All right, and then I added poverty and illness. You couldn't go beyond that.
Okay.
But then you turn around and say, now remember I said I'm worthy of love, prosperity, health, and success.
Yes.
Now you had me define success for me with I am successful when, right?
Yeah.
Which was really interesting for awareness. I am successful when I feel good about accomplishing a task, helping others, receive value for my actions.
So what did that tell you, honey?
Well, it tells me that, especially when we spoke, that I'm not even allowing myself to give what I'm really worthy of, which is, love, prosperity, health, and success, because I define success as accomplishing things, helping others, receiving value.
Wow.
And, it's about the only one that I've really been doing a little bit is helping others. But the others I didn't. So I guess, I remember we talked about my why?
Yes.
And so this is a perfect exercise for me to help me become aware.
Good.
And realize it.
Good.
So
Excellent.
thank you very much, Birch.
You're welcome, honey, and thank you for sharing that, because isn't that interesting that I am successful when you're not allowing yourself to, you feel most successful when you're giving and feeling like you're adding value. And when you are not giving and adding value, then you don't feel successful, and therefore that can play into the feeling of I'm unworthy.
So I
I'm sorry?
I have a question.
Yep.
I didn't come up with anything, which I guess it may be that I've been working on it, in terms of what I'm not worthy of.
Okay.
I thought about abuse, that's funny, but I just considered it in positive things. So, but I did come up with when I am successful when I don't react to others.
Oh, okay. When you don't allow others, when you don't react as opposed to when you respond?
When I don't react, basically I don't have like a charge. Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, great. So basically you're not allowing other people to shift or change anything about what you're feeling about yourself inside.
So I don't understand.
Which part?
What you just said.
Okay, so what you're doing is what I'm asking you is what you're saying, because if you don't have a charge, you feel successful when you're not allowing other people to make you feel bad about yourself. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh,
so
okay.
she's not allowing others to take her power.
That's awesome. You're not allowing exactly. You're not allowing others to take your power.
But I still have to work on it. But that was my thought.
That's great.
I thought that I'm there. But
that's
okay.
Great. That's fabulous. So that's good, because see what happens is our beliefs about ourselves, whether we're worthy or not worthy of, or when we're successful, our beliefs inform everything that we do. It is our driver. Our beliefs drive us with everything that we do, with every choice we make. And one of my favorite things that I share with people in the workshops is that if you have a belief about yourself, okay, a lot of times, and my belief is that our thoughts create reality, that we have the ability to create what we want and focus on what we want by certainly our beliefs and our thoughts vibrate just like our bodies do, okay? Now, that's my belief. So if that's true, what we tend to do is we attack others, and we attack what doesn't satisfy us in order to avoid seeing that we created it. I'm going to say that again. We attack others, or we attack what does not satisfy us in order to avoid seeing that we created it. We attack others, or we attack what does not satisfy us in order to avoid seeing that we created it. So, again, my belief is we create together. We co-create things, okay? Now, if you're feeling unworthy about something or not allowing others to love and support you about something, it could bring up a lot of things in your life that you really want to attack because you're not satisfied. And what we do, because nobody wants to look at themselves in the mirror and say, boy, what a dummy. You know, you're creating this. Most of us don't want to walk around feeling bad about, gosh, we created this. So what we do instead is we attack those things around us that doesn't satisfy us because we want to avoid seeing we created it. So that goes along with our own self-worth.
So what happens though when somebody is abusive?
Okay. What happens is this, and this is something that if you've got people around you that are, I guess, holding up a mirror to you, but they're also telling you they're abusing you in some way. So that is certainly if you allow them to do that, then you're giving your power away. And it's called, also another thing that happens with this, it's called crabbing. And I talked about this in our graduate level courses we just did about crabs. If you put a crab in a bucket and there's a bunch of crabs in the bucket, and let's say you're the one little crab that wants to crawl out, that you're focusing on what you want, and you believe that you can allow others to love and support you, and that you're worthy and that you're important, and you have a vision and you're going for it, okay, and you feel purposeful. And what happens is all those other little crabs in the bucket, there's two things they do. They take your leg as you're crawling up and try to pull you back down because they don't want to have you leave where they are, or they're trying to grab your leg to go up with you, but what ends up happening is it pulls you back down.
Or they're trying to go over you. So
what happens if you're in a crab bucket, that little crab's it's very tiring sometimes, and some people just give up. So don't allow other crabs to bring you down. If you're being abused or if you're being held back, if you think it's basically you're giving your power away and you're giving in. So think about it when you're born, when you're a little tiny baby. When you're holding a baby, okay, and you're holding that baby and you're looking at it and you say, you're so cute, you're so awesome, you're so worthy, you're so precious, you're so innocent. That baby doesn't look up at you and say, no, I'm not. What do you want? That baby doesn't look at you and say, what am I going to have to do now to you? What am I going to have to do for you now? Good God. That baby doesn't lay there and look up at you and say, well, hold on a minute. Let me earn it first. So hold on a sec. Let me do something. What do you want from me? They don't do that. They absolutely receive it. Unquestionable, without any kind of caveat, without any kind of strings attached. They just receive it.
Because we were created to. Why?
Well, and here's the thing, folks. Guess what? That part of you, that little baby, innocent, beautiful, sweet, precious baby soul is still there. It didn't go anywhere. You're still there. You still are that precious, innocent, purposeful, loving, abundant, joyful receiver. You're still there. It's just that so many people in our lives have gotten a lot of evidence that that's not true. Like, where did that person go? So if you have background
somebody's eating, can they put in mute?
Mute yourself, please. I'm hearing
terrible.
dishes and things in the background, please. Okay, please mute yourself. So, the thing I say in all the programs that I do, I say, well, what happened? If we were born that way, then what happened? Where did that person go? Why can't we just open our arms and say, yes, please love me, please support me, because I deserve it, because I am me. It's really owning, it's remembering, it's re-owning the fact that we are innocent, precious, powerful, loving beings, and we deserve to be loved and have happiness in our life, and that we are worthy of money and abundance and pleasure and health and purpose and all those things, because we're born. We came into this world for that. So think about that next time. Like, where did my little innocent baby go that I was when I used to be a baby? I know they're still in there. So here's the thing. We were talking about giving and receiving, and about allowing others to love and support you, and about your self-worth, okay? The real truth for me is that in order for us to really feel worthy, we have to put the mask on ourselves first, just like in the airplane. They tell you, put your mask on first and then put your mask on others. Most people walk around their whole life trying to put masks on everybody else, and they forget about themselves. So if you don't put your mask on first, then you're not going to be any good to anybody else. You have to love yourself enough to say yes to life, yes to your own worthiness first.
And Burge, I have a question.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on the giving and receiving.
Okay.
If the person that gives you a compliment or says something about you, it's not truthful. And you can see it because sometimes people say things just to say it as like an emotion.
Yeah.
They don't really mean it, and you can see that. And
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they mean it or not. What matters is how you receive it.
Even if it's phony? Even if it's phony, you know that's true?
If they're saying something that you feel like they don't really mean it, you have two options. You can walk away and say thank you and walk away, or you can say thank you.
Okay.
Because I'll accept whatever it is you're saying because it feels good for me to receive it. Whether
but then that means
believe it or not.
That means that they're not going to. I mean, they're not going. They're giving me, but they're not going. I mean, if they say something that's phony because they're phony, how are they going to be aware that they're actually receiving? I don't know. Maybe
you're
I'm
the one that's receiving, not them, hon. If somebody gives you a compliment and it's phony.
But you said that by me accepting also, I am of value to them, and they receive also from me.
You can't be hung up on that. That may or may not happen. Okay. Whether
oh my God, I can't hear anything. I'm sorry.
That may or may not happen. Okay. All right. You cannot be concerned about whether or not they receive your thank you, or that they.
Okay.
That's not it. The whole point of saying thank you, the whole point of receiving and allowing others to support you and to love you is for you to get how important you are. That's their job to figure out if they're going to receive back from you or not. That's not your job.
Okay, I see. I didn't.
Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. That helps.
I have a problem with giving, it's so funny because today I asked for help for some concrete action. For me, it's easy to receive compliments. It's just not easy to receive help in the concrete form, like an action type of help. And so I feel and I find myself almost in tears in terms of asking or even receiving. Somebody helping me to fix something or that I cannot fix or just...
Yes. Well,
so what is that?
Yes. Have you taken Essence of Being yet?
No.
Okay. So in Essence of Being, we have these... It's very experiential, okay? So that we do a lot of games and a lot of exercises and experiences that get to the core and the beliefs and the unconscious part of this, and we help you shift it. So part of the techniques and things that we do in these programs is we absolutely get you to the reasons why it's hard to receive or any of those things. So we really, really hone in on the receiving and the giving and feeling worthy and feeling important and focusing on what you want and creating a life that you choose and taking your power back. So I invite all of you on the call, if you haven't done Essence of Being, certainly that's your first step to experience this in a way that's not just, a 1-hour phone call, to be able to really experience it on a real level that transforms you in your real concrete life so that you can learn how to receive with grace and know that you are worthy enough to receive it in a concrete way. So it takes practice. It takes practice just like anything else. You're flexing your emotional and your spiritual and your mental levels instead of your physical. You're just moving your muscles, your spiritual, emotional, and mental muscles by saying yes to receiving. And it's not easy for some people. And I would say it's not easy for most people when they first have never experienced this before. Because people have been disappointed, and they've been betrayed, and they've been hurt. And part of them shuts down to opening themselves up to allow people to come in. And then that brings in the trust, which is a whole other call. So So I invite any of you listening on the call to certainly come play with us in Essence of Being. And the next, before I go there, there's a couple more things I want to give you as tools that you can use about feeling more worthy and feeling like it's okay to allow others to love and support you no matter what, and to remember that innocent, precious baby that's inside of you. So I'm going to give you some tools, and then I'm going to give you a gift just for being on the call tonight, and also remind you what's going to be happening next month, because I do this once a month, and give you some specific dates for you to take Essence of Being if you haven't. And those of you who have, and also our graduate levels, a lot of you on the call tonight were in our Passionate Manifestation workshops that we just did, so that's exciting. And we have many, many programs. So let me give you some tools to use, okay? One of my favorite tools to use to say, okay, I don't have to do or say anything in order to be worthy. In order for me to feel worthy, I love doing mirror work, okay? And I've said this before in some of my other power calls. Your mirror work is you stand in front of the mirror, and preferably naked, and you look at yourself in the mirror, and you say to yourself, you are worthy of feeling good. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of all you desire. You are worthy of feeling good. You're worthy of love. You are worthy of all you desire. And do that 10 times every day. Even if you don't believe it, even if you don't see any evidence, even if you're not sure, even if you think it's stupid. Because what happens is you are reframing your unconscious mind. And what you'll find if you do that, usually about 8 or 9, around 8 or 9, if you do it 10 times, around 8 or 9, you'll relax into that knowing place and that power place of, you know what, I am worthy of feeling good. You know what, I am worthy of love. And I am worthy of all I desire. I'm important. I matter. I make a difference in the world. Just by me showing up. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to say anything. And I don't have to act a certain way. I'm worthy just because I'm here. Just like that little baby. They don't have to go scrub floors for you. And think about the joy it feels just looking into an innocent little baby's eyes when they smile. What joy that brings to you. So that baby receiving all of your love and all of your compliments and all those things, they give back to you because it warms your heart. So you're receiving. And they're receiving. And they're giving, and you're giving. It's all big one happy give, receiving fest. So the other thing you can do, other than the mirror work, is acknowledge. Acknowledge yourself often. So when you find money, or if people give you money, or if people give you something that you weren't expecting, okay, or they give you their time, acknowledge that you created it, whether you worked for it or not. Say thank you to yourself and say, yeah, take credit for it. Acknowledge that you created it. Your willingness to receive, you created that. And that your prosperity consciousness is working. So if you're wanting more cash or money or prosperity, it's working. And take credit for it. If you're wanting more love or purpose or health, take credit for it. Acknowledge yourself and say, thank you. Thank you, Burge. I received that. I did that. Because we're so quick to condemn ourselves when things don't go our way. But we forget to acknowledge and maybe call it a fluke when things really go our way, when we're absolutely focusing on what we want and we create it. It's a great feeling. And that means you have the power to create what you want. So acknowledge yourself often. Say thank you, especially to things that you think, oh, well, that was just coincidence. Pay attention and do your mirror work. The mirror work is powerful. And remember, your network is your net worth. So going back to that original question I started out with, what are you worth? Are you enough? And because you've been on this call, I'm giving you guys, if you haven't gotten one already, you're going to get 4 free videos that I did, 3 Steps to Abundance. And all you have to do, you can go to the website, essenceofbeing.com, and click on your free gifts, or you can just pull out your phones, and you just text the number 96000. That's 96,000. And you put in the message Burge, B-U-R-G-E. And you'll get a link with 4 free videos for you to download. Now, I have another website, essenceofbeing.com, and Essence of Being International, which is eobinternational.com. Essence of Being is happening in Toronto this weekend. I'm flying up there tomorrow morning, actually, and we're doing the workshop in Canada this weekend. We'll be in Malaysia September 4th through the 6th. And if you don't want to fly overseas to come do it in Atlanta in October. Atlanta, Georgia, 16th through the 18th, October 16th through the 18th. Or South Florida. I'll be down there one more time this year in South Florida, and that's going to be October 23rd through the 25th.
Yay!
Yay. So you can come and play with me there, or you can wait and go with me to Australia in November. I'm teaching in Melbourne, Australia in November, and back to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So if you are listening to this call, certainly we invite you to come to our beginning classes, which are the Essence of Being, which is our main Cadillac program. And then we have a lot of other programs to go from there. And next month, I'll be speaking one more time, Power Hour, September 16th is the next one. So put that on your calendar, September 16th. And what I'm going to be speaking on and what we're going to go through next month is prosperity through emotional healing. And answer the question, can I have love and money at the same time? Prosperity through emotional healing. Can I have love and money at the same time? So I hope that you got something out of tonight.
Yes.
And that you, the thing I always say is, look, what you focus on expands. So focus on having faith that you really are that innocent little baby in there that doesn't have to do or say anything in order for you to feel loved, appreciated, and worthy and deserving. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we end the call?
Yeah, I do. Hey, Burge, this is Susan.
Hi, honey.
Hey, today it's funny. I knew we were having this call on self-worth, and as I'm going to this store with my daughter, she said, Mommy, I want to tell you something, and she's going to be 5 on Saturday. I want to tell you something, but I don't want to tell you. I'm going to run away from home tonight because I want a new mommy. I was like, first I went to the place like, oh my God, I'm a bad mommy, and then I was like, wait a minute, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it was so quick that I was able to just discount, like before your classes, I would have gone and stayed in that place of, oh my God, she doesn't want me, But now I just immediately was like, oh, I just kind of played it with her. And it was like, so when we get home, we're going to pack. And what kind of mommy do you want? And it really came down to that she wanted a mommy with hair like she has, long, dark, curly hair, and that doesn't wear glasses. And then she told me later, I want to stay with you, Mommy.
That's great.
That's
and
funny.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect just from what we had the other caller was talking about, not allowing other people around her to affect how she feels about herself. So that goes for our kids, too. That's awesome.
Yeah, and also I was thinking the innocence, I can pick my mommy, and I can tell my mommy that I want another mommy. It's just so beautiful and innocent.
That's awesome. Okay, thank you, Susan. Anybody else have anything they want to share or ask a question?
Bert.
Yep.
Go ahead. I don't know who. Somebody else wanted to say something?
I was just going to say thank you, Burge.
Oh,
just another powerful lesson in tools. Thank you.
You're welcome,
thank you.
And you deserve it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I wanted to share a quick thing, Bert, what happened to me. I think that's the reason I missed the completion. I don't know. My air conditioning broke, so I was totally miserable. And I think Howard knows how hot it's right now in South Florida. It was like 86 Fahrenheit in my house, and I called the AC guy, and he came yesterday. And, of course, he had to come and see what was the problem. He had no idea. And he ended up that, and all my fears that I have to replace the AC, I have to whatever, he found the issue. He even had the part in his car, and he did not want to charge me anything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome,
So.
awesome. And you received it, yes?
I mean, initially, because I know him, he's the guy that, checks my AC, and we know him for years. And he said, I'm not going to charge you. Goodbye. I said, George, please let me, I wanted to give him some fruit or something. He said, can't you accept, my help? And then I shut up at that point. So I thought I had to share this with you because I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's
it
great.
Was
well, believe
unreal,
it.
Bert.
Unreal. Believe it. It's not unreal.
Yes. Yes. I was that. I mean, so, I know it happened. I couldn't. I mean, yeah, it happened.
Believe it.
Yeah.
So that's
but thank
awesome,
you.
And you're
thank
welcome.
You.
And that's what happens when anybody takes these programs is that you can really see very quickly how it shifts and transforms things on the outside because you have changed and shifted on the inside. So I invite all of you to play with me again next month and certainly come play with us in Essence of Being and all of our other programs that we have. And until then, I'm going to say, what you focus on expands, and I am worthy and so are you. And thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good night. Thank you.
You're
Love
welcome.
you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You're welcome.